One of the tools I use at the beginning of a marketing campaign is Google's Insight for Search. It's got a lot of cool features, and I can't give you a sort of step-by-step way to use it, but I'll show you some ways you might noodle around with it. So let's pretend that we're talking about music. So let's say you want to find out, you have a music shop, and you want to find out what people search for more. They want guitars, pianos, or mandolins. So we would start out with, let's say, guitar. And this is searching the entire world, 2004 to the present. And we'll do a search, and it'll show you a little graph here. Interest over time. This is roughly the number of searches over time. So here's some interesting things we can see. First of all, there is a spike around December, which tells you that this is probably a gift item. There are other little spikes. It looks like it's pretty similar year to year. There's also looks like a spike maybe at back to school time, a drop in the summer, and it looks like it's trending down a little bit from 2004 to 2009, and certainly down a lot in 2010. Maybe the recession had something to do with that. So let's see how that compares to, say, for example, piano. So we add that in, and it's going to now give us the comparison. And you see guitar is blue, piano is red. So piano is way down here. So one thing we notice, that people are not buying pianos so much as gifts. There's a teeny little spike around December, a teeny little dip, but not nearly so pronounced. So guitar is much more of a gifty item than the piano. So now I don't know if this is going to help you from 2004 to the present. We might want to say, let's just look at 2010, this past year, and search there, and then that'll break your thing out. So this whole graph will be 2010. So that's not giving us very much either. It's just telling us relatively where the searches came from. So let's go back to our original date range. Having trouble seeing that here. So let's just go back to 2004 to 2011. And it's going to give us that interest over time. So let's try a different type of search now. So let's say we sell guitars, and we want to know what's the most popular one. So let's say there's Gibson, and we're going to click add a search term, and we're going to try Fender guitar. And we want to put in guitar here because Fender is ambiguous, right? It could be a car fender as well. So let's do that search. And this should look familiar. It looks pretty much like the one for guitar. Just for good measure, let's throw guitar back in there to see that we're seeing the same spikes and the same decline. Now it looks like that's a problem because guitar has so much more traffic than either of those two that it completely dwarfs the other two. So we have to get rid of that. But just remembering that it was roughly the same thing. So now let's go down here and see some other interesting features. It will show us regional interest based on the relative number of searches for a keyword based on the total population of, or the total number of searches that that country region does. So you see that both of these are much more searched in the United States and then Canada. In the UK, the red one, which was Fender, well, Fender beats the Gibson everywhere except Norway, and they're pretty much neck and neck in Singapore. And you can see also here's top searches related to Gibson guitars. Guitars, Les Paul. So Les Paul, that's something we also want to think about. And here are the rising searches that have been going up, trending upwards. So you want to make sure that whatever your keywords you're going to choose are trending up. You don't want something that's just a fad that's going to die off. Something else I want to do here is, let's say you just sell in the United States. Well, let's do that search. And now we can see over time, same sort of trend. But now you get to see where in the United States the most people search for it? Which region, which state has the most interest in this case? Here's the blue is Gibson, right? So that's Tennessee. Search volume is high in Tennessee. Montana, Kentucky, Arkansas. You can see this is something you might have predicted. There's no New York, no California, no Massachusetts. This is sort of guitar country. And we can take a look at Fender and see if it changes. Well, not so much. Yeah, Montana, but here Oregon and also Tennessee, Oklahoma are really high. So what else can we do with this? We can look at, let's say we're trying to, let's pick a keyword that would tend to trend high for more populous states. So let's say New Yorker magazine. You would guess New York would trend high for that, and you'd be right. So now we can go to New York, and it'll actually give us regionally for city where the most interest is. So New York, the city is the top. The next one is Burlington, and Syracuse, Albany. So the cities in which there's that much interest. And the New Yorker actually might be a better one. So you can click on any of those, and it'll show us how the New Yorker spikes. I wanted to show you one more thing, which is how you can triangulate with the news. So now we're going to type in Les Paul guitar. Les Paul was basically the creative force behind the electric guitar. So you can see there's a couple of spikes here. And so let's go to, let's do all of the United States. So if we search all United States for all subregions, you'll notice a couple of spikes here that are pretty interesting. So let's go to 2000. This is the biggest spike of all, around 2009. So we're just going to search for 2009. So let's reset that and then just go straight to 2009. And you can see how weird that spike is right there. So now we click on this button for news headlines, and you'll see here, so Les Paul dies at 94. And it'll take you to a news story. So now you can see exactly why there was that spike at that particular time. So that's the basic Search Insights introduction. There's a lot more to play with here, a lot of other things. You can look at different categories, you can choose time ranges and locations, you can embed the chart and add it to your iGoogle. There's a lot going on here, and it's just a way to get familiar and play around with how search differs by time and by geographic region, and to be able to quickly and easily compare different keywords to see which ones are going to provide the most traffic. So hope this was helpful. See you inside the next video.